can see here. There's a couple ways that you can move your project from bidding to pending, but one of the things I want to make sure that you see here is that in our bidding worksheet, we no longer have any zeros. You do not want to leave any zeros in your project, especially on a materials or maybe like an equipment or anything that you can write an expense towards, because people can write an expense towards something that has $0 in it, and it just pulls from your overhead and profit and creates an internal change order. So before you move, you want to make sure that your bidding package is exactly the way you want it to be and that there's no more zeros. So let's go back to our project dashboard. And I'm going to show you that you can actually click on the word bidding and it will give you the option to set to pending. But there's another place to do this that gives you a little bit more options, and that's in projects. So I already have the project that I want open, and you can see again, it's in bidding, but I can click these three dots here and I have these options now. I have set to pending, delete bid, not awarded, and duplicate. So if you are not awarded something, you absolutely should put it in not awarded so it doesn't mess with your global dashboard numbers. So make sure that you change that to not awarded if it's not awarded. And if you need to delete the bid and start over, do that, delete bid and start over, of course. So again, this isn't messing with your global dashboard numbers. You can duplicate a project, which is very nice, especially if, let's say, you do, you build a lot of Starbuckses. If you go into a Starbucks, they look pretty much the same, especially the newer ones. So maybe you want to just duplicate a Starbucks project that you just finished because you're going to do another one. So that's a good reason to duplicate, but we're just going to set this to pending. It's going to ask us a question. Is this the right information? It is for us. So we're going to say set the bid to pending. And it goes to pending. You may need to refresh your screen or it will refresh for you like it did here. And now we can click here and we have more options. We have new revision and will start soon or set to bidding. Now, when you are in pending, you can set it to bidding and back as many times as you need to. But if you click that will start soon, it becomes a live project and you cannot move it back anymore. Again, you have the not awarded and the duplicate option. I'm going to show you what a new revision looks like. And this is nice when the owner comes to you and says, I like what we've done, but maybe I want to add this particular thing to the project, but you don't want to rebuild a whole new bid. You can just create a revision and then add your revision cost codes and then give it to the owner and they can make a decision between which bid they're going to take. So project name is not changeable and you're going to have an REV1 at the end. So you can make some changes to the owner or owner representative. You're going to find out your estimator, which is still me. So we're going to click next. It never takes me again. So let's put my brother as the estimator. It's going to ask you when the bid due dates are and your sub bid due dates. And then it has a couple different options. Do you want to copy the prices? Do you want to merge the base bid cost items with alternates, units, and phases? Do you want to copy your bid notes? And do you want to copy your plan room files? The only one that's set to no is your alternates, units, and phases. Everything else is pretty good to keep as a yes, but if you don't want it, you don't want it. So we're going to click next. It's going to ask if our address is still correct, and we're going to create revision. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the cute little cartoon. You just get to watch the circle. All right, here's our revision as promised, REV1. It's in bidding. I chose to keep my worksheet. So it's all in there, everything that I had already put in there. So that's a really nice thing. All my bid notes, all that jazz, all the things that we kept because they were already checked yes and we didn't change them are going to be in our bid so we don't have to redo it for a revision. Any questions?
No questions.
All right. All right, let's go back to our original project, set to pending. All right, now when you're in pending, there's not much that you're doing. You will do your owner contract. You will now see that commitments is available, but you only have one option. So we're going to click on owner contract. And if you have had us put in an owner contract for you, that's one of yours, you're going to see that. I have so many tabs open. No wonder it's going a little slow. I should close things before I do my webinars. But you're going to see here's your contact types down here. If you have AIA, you'll have the AIA documents. If you have consensus, you'll have consensus. But if you don't have any of those things, you're just going to have the owner contract for Joe Marks, or Joe Marks is my owner. So it's going to say owner contract and then the owner. You can add your alternates, units, and phases if you have them, and it will change the contract amount. So we're just going to go into our owner contract. And there's a couple things up here that need to be filled out. And that's going to be our agreement date, which is going to be today. The end date of the project, you can either choose the end date or the substantial completion date. We're going to say 300 days. And it's going to come up with the date that it's ready to be done. You can put your retainages in there and your print date, which for me is going to be today. Now, once you've filled those things out and they are correct for you, you can see your owner section right here, or edit sections. If you need to edit a section, you absolutely can by clicking it. So you can make contract changes in here to match whatever you want it to be. And then you can update the section, and that's going to save that change. Now, if you go back in there and you go, I don't think I really wanted that, I can restore default. And it takes that change out of there. And of course, if you accidentally click into an edit section and you don't want to do anything, you can just click edit, cancel edit. There will be a couple things in here that you may have to fill out by yourself. You know, there may be just a couple things that we don't pull in automatically for you. So you should obviously read your contracts before you send them, because you may want to change something or add something to it. Do we have any questions?
No questions.
All right. George, is there anything else I need to talk about? Anything I'm missing?
No, we do have the option to add attachments up there.
Oh,
You can show what
absolutely.
if you pull up the print, you'll see where certain things.
Let's take a look at this printed contract. Of course, nobody can read that. That's super tiny. Can you see my contract?
Yes. And so
Okay.
like the agreement date, the number that we selected, you
Mhm.
can see that that's in there. Certain things aren't going to be available on the screen when you edit it, but when you pull open the print version, you'll see what the information has been added.
Absolutely. So you can also see here some of our bid notes, bid plan and specs and things like that. So they'll be able to see those things. Our enumerated drawings are in there. So that's what the contract's going to look like. Now, when you're ready, you should sign your contract, and it's going to ask you, hey, are you ready to sign this? Do you agree? Yes, I do. So we're going to sign that. And now it's been signed, and it's been sent to our owner for them to sign it now. So I believe if we refresh our screen and scroll to the bottom, you can see this is the signed, that we have signed it, and we're just waiting on the owner to sign it now. Now, if they give you a ink signed copy, let's say they printed it out and they signed it physically, you can go to the briefcase now and go to contracts, and your owner contract is going to be here, and you can import it. So anything that you import supersedes what you've done in Go. So if you did a contract outside of Go and you import it in, you still have to create the owner contract in Go, but you can import the one that you did outside of it, and it supersedes it. When you import it, it's going to act as a signature for the owner and the owner. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's pretty much
One more
it.
with that. Also, Heather, so keep in mind when you import that document, the numbers for that, like the final agreement number, is not going to change based on you importing the document. So just make sure that the amount is correct in the new owner document with what you have in your worksheets.
Yes, very much so. All right. Any last things I should add in here? The next webinar is going to be on the We'll Start Soon process, which is going to be doing your commitments, such as your, let me open commitments here, such as your purchase orders and your subcontracts, as well as setting your construction budget. But until then, this is all that we're going to go over today. Just a couple things that you can do before you hit to pending and then after you've gone into pending status. Remember that you can move back and forth between bidding and pending as many times as you want, but once you've moved it to We'll Start Soon, that's it. You're kind of done. So keep that in mind.
Thank you, Heather.
All right, that's it for me. Let me show you one last thing. We have our Learning Center up underneath your profile name. And you can see our upcoming live sessions, and eventually our webinar recordings will go into this page here. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.